It's time for the Rip City Wrap-Up. The Rip City Wrap-Up is brought to you by Dick Hanna Subaru, Believe in Nice, and Jack in the Box. Now here are your hosts, Joe Simons and Danny Marang.
Your Blazers are 6-7 after a 138-133 loss to the Dallas Mavericks. In overtime, they go 1-4 on the road trip. Some of you are panicking out there.
Yeah.
We see your tweets. Send us more. Use the hashtag RCWrapUp. Let us know where you are on the panic meter at this point. We are 13 games into the season, Danny Marang. The Blazers are coming home. An unsuccessful road trip. You expect to get this one against the lowly Mavericks, even without Jrue Holiday, who they really needed down the stretch.
Yeah, you could see.
Really all night.
Yeah, I mean, all night. You can see the influence that Jrue has on this team, the calming effect and getting them into stuff, slowing them down when they need to slow down, speeding up when they need to speed up. Just tempo. He is a tempo control guy. You know, the Blazers go 1-4 on this road trip. We talked 2-3, 3-2. They are a game-winning shot from Desmond Bane and not losing to this Maverick team away from being 3-2 on this road trip. But that's the reality, is that nobody likes hearing this, because if you have a game within 5 points with 5 minutes to go, it's a coin toss. Unless you're a truly, truly elite team, that's what it is. You know, you can talk about it in the NFL with the Washington Commanders last year. It was like, they're so good, they made it to the NFC title game, and then, well, if you go back and you look at all their one-score games, and the same thing happened to the Chicago Bears. If you look, I use the NFL because it's a compressed schedule. It's easier to see the ebbs and flows of one-score games. But if you do it over 82,
Sure. It balances out.
You're
which
probably
is the point.
you're probably gonna have 25 to 30 of them in
Right.
a given year if you're just kind of a good team.
Well, let's start with the big picture, and then we'll focus on the game, because there were some interesting performances, Shea specifically. But we were talking about in the production room before we came in here. So we're 13 games in. Portland has beaten the Thunder.
Yep.
They've beaten Denver. And they've lost to Dallas, and they lost to Orlando. In 2 games you think they probably should have won. So are we feeling better if Portland loses to the Thunder and the Nuggets and they beat Dallas and Orlando? You don't.
No.
It's just recency bias, which I understand, because
1-4 looks nasty.
it looks nasty, and that was a very disappointing outcome, because it looked like in that second quarter, Portland was going to take control, and you think, okay, they had the players-only meeting. They've righted the ship. Even without Jrue, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to cause havoc. They're going to get points off turnovers. They're going to run, and they're going to beat a team they should beat by 20. And then Klay Thompson wakes up like the Undertaker, has an incredible quarter.
For a quarter and a half.
And then it's a tight game from there on out.
And that's the thing, is the Blazers are so shorthanded now. So let's just run down the list. No Jrue, no Dame, no Scoot. That is your backcourt. That is your primary ball handlers are all on the shelf
Guard
tonight.
deficient.
Yeah, you just don't have them. Then you don't have Tease, and you don't have Blake. So 5 of your guards are out coming into the night. Now, obviously, you're not getting Dame back for the season, but it's just one of those things where you look at it and you go, yeah, that's going to be tough. I looked at this matchup when it came that Jrue was going to be out for the night. I looked at it and went, well, this is going to be the least point guardiest game in NBA history, because the Mavericks don't have one. Brandon Williams is point guard size, but he's not a point guard. They don't have Kyrie. They didn't go get, bring a Spencer Dinwiddie back. And, before anybody says D'Angelo Russell, no, hard pass. He's point guard size, but he's not point guarding anything.
He was the fly in the ointment tonight. He wasn't great, but he just did a lot of irritating
Some timely
things.
stuff.
Yes.
For the Mavericks, I should say.
Yes.
But you just take a look at what they had coming in. This isn't making an excuse for them, but you are a team that, what are the 2 things that you probably lack the most? Playmaking, shooting. Well, your playmaking took a massive hit tonight with Jrue Holiday out. Your shooting ebbs and flows, as we saw what they did tonight. They finished regulation shooting 40 of 100 from the field. And if you don't have somebody who comes in and has a hot night, and Jeremy and Shaedon, while they score, they don't do it really efficiently. Now, they saved some of that by getting to the free throw line, but they weren't lighting it up. And then Deni gets tossed in overtime, and you just kind of go, okay, yeah, you had this going against you going into the game. You're in your 5th game of your road trip. You lose Deni in overtime. You stumble and fall with your shooting prowess, and you don't have anybody who can naturally create for you outside of Deni, who, if you're asking him to bear that burden that much more, it becomes like eventually the dam's going to break.
It felt like the longer the game went on, the more it favored the Mavericks. I mean, Dallas, it held true with about 20 seconds left in overtime, but I'm pretty sure they scored a free throw at least on every possession they had. Dallas scored on every possession in overtime. They had 20 points in overtime. And the Blazers didn't have an answer for Dallas attacking the basket. And I was screaming at you, why is Klingon not in the game? Why is Klingon not in the game? Deni fouled out. Klingon came in only for a couple possessions. Not the way I want to see him in the ball game, but we talk a lot about the way Thiago's going to play basketball, and it's going to be one way. It's going to be fast. It just seems like on a night like this, maybe throw a curveball, maybe throw a knuckle, try something a little bit different to break the momentum, especially with Dallas being so effective down the stretch in the fourth quarter and in overtime. But it seems like that's not what Thiago's going to do.
No, he wants to play at his speed, his pace. He doesn't want to change from that. And for Donovan, he did play 28 minutes tonight. So he was already kind of at that. And fifth game of a road trip, you're probably thinking, he might be a little tired. And everybody's, you can argue in the comments or online or whatever you want to about that.
Argue with him specifically.
Yeah, there you go. Please don't do that. I'm tired. I am. But I'm not mad at Thiago for not going to Donovan. I understand kind of what they were looking for, and I think they're more inclined to go with that path of playing smaller and playing more athletic and playing more switchable, because when you do throw Donovan out there, you are kind of stuck playing a certain type, a certain brand of basketball. And with that, I don't know if it's a stubbornness, but I think it's a commitment to who you are. Because when I asked Thiago about that, about, can you, if you become shorthanded or you get, tired, will you change things up? And he's like, no, we're going to play this way. This is how we're going to play. And some people will look at that and probably again see stubbornness, where I see that they want their identity to be clear what they're going to be, and they don't want to deviate from that. How long they can go about that? Again, 5-game road trip, a game every other night for basically 2 weeks. Thankfully, they're going to get 2 days off, which they need desperately. Actually, no, they don't.
They just get the one.
But they get the 8 o'clock start.
We get 2 days off.
Yeah, we get 2 days off. So
because the game's on NBC.
Yeah, well.
8 o'clock, which we're going to get to that later on.
Yes.
Abomination of a start time.
It's absolutely diabolical. But I do wonder kind of where that's going to go, because I thought Donovan was good tonight. 6 of 11, knocked down a couple threes. Our great national nightmare is over.
He did it. He knocked down a couple threes.
Donovan knocked down some
Donovan
threes.
was good tonight, and that was leading credence to me being more, I guess frustrated is probably the right way to put it, that he didn't come back in the game in overtime when clearly Dallas was butt in the gut, back to the basket, trying to get inside every single possession. If you have a giant man who's had a really good night, maybe you throw him in there.
But what were the Mavs doing with that offensively? They were hunting somebody and getting to a spot in the mid-post.
Okay.
They weren't going all the way to the rim. Where did Cooper score from?
Yes.
Mid-post.
You're right.
Where did P.J. Washington score from?
Yes, they
Mid-post.
weren't completely underneath the basket.
No, that's the thing, is they looked at that, which that's a difficult shot. Like if you're an NBA defense, you want guys taking, 10, 12, 15 footers, but that's where I want to give specifically Cooper Flagg credit, because Flagg was incredible in the second half and overtime. The shots, the shots he hit, we all kind of went.
I understand. We'll get to him. How old is he, Danny?
Wow, he's 18.
I love that we're going to keep saying this like 10 years into his career. Like a mother who says their child is he's 147 months.
We're not going to do the full Jason Tatum with him, but he's not 19 for another month.
It is amazing because you watch him out there and he commands a group of men on an NBA court in a really organic way. It's not like it's performative or he's trying to do it and saying, this is my team, and thumping his chest. He believes it, and his teammates believe it, which is amazing because he's 12, 13 games into his career.
Cooper Flagg becomes the youngest player in NBA history to record a 20.5 rebound, 5 assist game with 0 turnovers. And he's not doing it off the ball. Like he hit clutch shot after clutch shot after clutch shot. Like I know a lot of fans, not just in Blazers
done, Guillermo.
There you go. Not just Blazers fans, but sports fans in general. They always want to blame their team for losing instead of tipping the cap to the other team. And I don't do that as an excuse.
They're 3-10. They suck. But you get it.
They're NBA players, and Cooper Flagg was really good. Like it wasn't like Cooper Flagg was walking into open shots. He was self-creating. The fast break shot, or the fast break bucket he had was like, okay, that's a little much, dude. I need you to calm down. But he also, backed Tumani down and hit a turn and fade from 12 feet, and you're just like, okay. P.J. Washington chips in a little bit. Gafford chips in a little bit. And I think that's what you got from the Mavericks tonight, is that you let them stay in the game too long because you couldn't put them away.
That's right. There were many opportunities where Portland got up 7. Portland got up 9. In the second quarter, they got up 12. And like I was saying earlier,
felt like you might run away with it.
Portland hasn't put their foot on an opponent's throat yet. And that's very, very disappointing. We want to hear from Master Splitter. He has something to say. Coach will be coming
eventually
in a second. Maybe he's going to talk about Don not playing in overtime.
Or basketball in general.
Just more musings from Master Splitter.
You said you liked his vibes.
I do like his vibes.
Okay.
Yeah, I like him being as steady as he is. Like,
he's very
right, and maybe not so much when things are going bad in Dallas. But let's hear what Master Splitter has to say.
Didn't make many, but defensively we gotta be better. Just one-on-one situations and it's like guard better and be smarter. Definitely wasn't like a great shooting night. They still got to 30 points, whatever, but with not great percentage. So,
well, thankfully the Dallas Mavericks missed a truckload of free throws. They were 27 of 40 from the line, but because they shot 51% from the field and 44% from three. Meanwhile, the Blazers just eke over 40% at 40.7 from the field and 29.8 from three.
All right, let's do it. Shea had 36, but it took him 32 shots to get there.
The weirdest 36-point game I've seen in a long time. I don't really know what to do with it because he hit some clutch shots. He took some what are you doing shots. He had some unreal finishes at the rim. He got absolutely sent by Gafford and Lively a couple times. It was just
got to the line 11 times, which you love to see.
Which you love to see. And it was just like the good was really good. The bad was really bad. There really wasn't much in between. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, and it was interesting because I was joking with you when he got up to like 25 points. Like, we're going to get on television. Shea's going to have 37 points, and we're going to say he had a bad night.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a bad night, but I wouldn't be like, this is one where you look and you go, oh, man, Shea had 36. That's awesome if you didn't watch the game. And you're like, all right, the field goals. But when you watched it, it was like in 5-minute spurts, you're like, he is dominating this game. And you're like, he is completely lost. And that would be.
There was no in between. There's no steadiness.
In two chunks back to back. It was really interesting, and I do think there's a lot good to take away from it, but it does balance out with the negative, where the handle didn't look good, and he was just taking quick shots for no reason.
That pull-up three where he landed like 4 feet in front of it. It was like, what was that,
It's like a video game shot where like someone pushes the wrong button and they like levitate in the air for 4 seconds.
But he also had the offensive rebound where he gets a kickback and he pump fakes, and I literally said, don't you dare. And then he took his time and reset his feet, pulled up and hit it. And it was one of those things you look back at me like, And I was like, that was better because the shot that he was going to take was going to be a rushed, feet not underneath him, just throw it up. And it's like, no, that ain't it. But then he kind of settled into it and got a nice, comfortable shot as the defense took a step back. And it was like he recognized that, which that you like to see. But on the flip side of it, defensively, I thought this was probably his worst game of the season. I thought he kind of got hunted a few times.
He did.
Not even in the end of the game, but just throughout the game. Now, caveat that with his offensive burden was significantly more tonight.
Sure.
Somebody had to pick up shots. Kind of wish Deni would have picked up a few more. Kind of wish Jeremy would have been a bit more efficient.
So it's funny to say that because Shea took 32 shots. Deni and Jeremy both took 20.
Yeah.
And Jeremy had a similar night
Yep.
to Shaedon on the offensive
He finished
end.
7 of 20 because he had to chuck a few there at the end, but he wasn't like he was lighting it up before that.
Precisely. And Deni had an uneven night too because you look at it, 29, 7 and 6, didn't miss a free throw.
50% from the field.
But the turnovers were loud, man. They really were.
He had 2 that were egregious turnovers. One where he dribbled off his foot, got it back, dribbled off his foot, got it back, dribbled off his foot again. It was just like, what was that? And then he had one where he got caught in the air.
And then, of course, the shot at the end of regulation. What the hell was that?
I don't know.
That was awful.
I don't know
I
what-
mean, we love Deni. He's the
Yeah.
best player on the team. He should be an
Hands
all-star
down.
this season. That was a ridiculous shot.
He had so much time. He had 12 seconds
He had
when he
almost
took the ball.
too much time because I think Lamar called it. He's going to shoot a 3. Okay, cool. Deni's really good at shooting 3s. Not that 3.
Yeah.
It came up a foot short.
I saw 2, and he was splitting the difference between deep in the corner and up on the wing. And I looked at you, and I was like, 2's got to go. Either bring the screen or sink down so Deni's like so the help either bring the screen early and get Brandon Williams switched off on this, and then you can leak in or pop to the corner or get to the corner, space out. And I almost looked like what Deni was trying to do there was like he was unsure, and that's the Drew Holiday effect more than anything else for me. I do like the idea that Thiago did not call the timeout. There was something Chauncey Billups did.
Let him play.
Let them play. Let these guys figure it out because the math will bear it out. If you call a timeout and you let a team set their defense fully, make their subs, whatever they're going to do, the average points possession is going to favor the defense. Let them play. And more often than not, you're probably going to get a good look out of it, especially if you've got, good, heady, high IQ basketball players. I don't know what Deni was thinking there. Like that's like Deni taking a catch and shoot threes or going into a quick pull up. Those are good shots. I have no issue with those. Sidestep to the right, Deni Avdija 3. I could go through the shot database. And I could probably maybe pull.
I've
10
never seen him shoot a shot like that.
Like
it looked bizarre.
It was weird. Like he almost like tried to mimic like Ant or Dame's like sidestep footwork, and I was just kind of like, we've talked about this in the office. I almost wanted to go full Patrick Ewing. What was that shot? Do you practice that shot? Because it looked so foreign for him.
It was bizarre. But to get back to Tiago letting the guys play, you think that because you have Jeremy Grant and because you have Shaedon Sharpe and because you have Deni Avdija, it is worth taking the risk of saying, guys, go.
Yeah.
Because Jason Kidd is not setting the Mavs defense when you have an outstanding player like Cooper Flagg who can anchor a defense.
Well, Brandon Williams is still on the floor because if they call a timeout, Brandon Williams is coming out. 100%
so the
he's coming out.
substitutions, the defense getting set. And yeah, I think Blazer fans are shocked by that because we've seen a full season now from Deni. If you take away the start of last season and basically wrap around to here we are now, we basically have a full NBA season of Deni being awesome for this basketball team.
If you look at Deni from basically Christmas last year until now, he's probably averaging 23, 7, and 5. Without looking, I bet you that's what he's averaging.
Another 29-point night to bolster where he is in
over his last 7 games.
Potential All-Star.
Over his last 7 games, I think he's averaging 29, 7, and 4.
To me, this is one that stings in the moment, but you wake up, you take a shower, you have some lunch tomorrow, and you go, all right, it wasn't a great road trip. It's team 6 and 7. It's team 6 and 7. You're coming home. Find a way to split the games with Phoenix and Chicago. Phoenix lost tonight, but they've been red hot. Chicago's kind of come back to earth a little bit after their great start. So you split that. Maybe you grab both. Cup night. You see what happens as you kind of roll into next week and the Thanksgiving holiday. But we're talking about Tiago, and I kind of like his presence and his steadiness, and we have fun with the master splitter. But he's right. They asked him to basically summarize the road trip, and he's like, we're going to go home, we're going to see our families, and then we're going to play another game, and then we're going to play another game, and this is going to go on for a long time because the NBA season's long.
Long.
Yeah.
So I just pulled up Deni. I don't know if this is – no, it is up to date now. Last 7 games, Denny's averaging 26, 7, and 5. My bad. I gave him a few too many points when I didn't give enough assists. And in that, he's shooting 49, 38, 86.
These are all-star numbers.
I mean, those are insane numbers.
But if this team comes home with 2 more wins than they do, then that makes a difference, and it has to happen in the first 35 to 40-ish games of the season.
8 and 6 looks a lot different. 8 and 6
feels a lot different.
It looks a lot different. Let's see. Let's play the game here real quick. Let's pull up the standings.
Do we have it? Vigil. Standings time.
Do we have those?
Let's pull them up.
Maybe, possibly.
Blazers are 9th in the West. But you look at where they are.
7.
Right.
Yep. If they were 8 and 6, they would be in the exact same spot tied with the Suns.
Right. You certainly feel a lot better about it. But you also look at some of the teams in the rearview mirror. Utah, Clippers.
Do you feel threatened by any of those teams? And no, I don't want anybody to say Dallas because you just lost them on the 5th game of a road trip.
I just don't buy the Clippers either, dude. I really don't.
No, Derek Jones Jr. was on crutches. He got hurt tonight. So Kawhi's dinged up.
It's an old team.
Beal's lost for the season. Harden's going to break down a little bit. I mean,
they're asking Harden to score 28 and have 12 assists a night for them to be competitive.
And he could do that 10 years ago.
Sure, and he could do it this year for 55 games.
Yeah, and then he's going to break down. I mean, Chris Paul's getting DMPs.
Right.
Just like, ooh.
Like the way the West, I think, appears, at least this time of the season, a little more top-heavy than maybe we thought.
I think maybe 1 or 2 teams, with the Clippers and Grizzlies being what they are.
But when you're looking around the 9th and the 10th seed, that makes a big difference when you're trying to be one of those teams that gets into the play-in. Sure, if you're like the 5th or 6th seed, doesn't really make a difference. Everyone's kind of jockeying for position. But kind of the lower middle class of the Western Conference looks a little bit weaker than maybe we thought going into the season.
For sure. And I almost wonder, some comments when I asked, how people are feeling tonight. A lot of people are, I want to see them tank. I want to see him tank.
What am I talking about?
We're 13 games into the season. There's so much basketball left to be played. But with that caveat of I understand why if you're watching college basketball, because there are some transcendent.
Got some hosses?
I mean, this is shaping up to be one of the best, probably top 8, top 10 draft classes we've seen in 15 years. It looks that good. It genuinely does. And
Right.
everybody says, well, it looks great every
Okay.
year. And I'm like,
Okay.
no,
But
it
the flip side
doesn't
is,
look like this.
Danny, if it's that deep, can't you win?
Can't you pull the plug in the
can-
end if you need to?
You
Yeah.
can thread the needle, right? You could win 38 games, be the 9 or the 10 seed, maybe not make the playoffs, but be in the play-in, get there, and
Get
then
knocked out.
sure, like,
Be at the back of the lottery and get stupid lucky like the Mavs did.
or if you sneak into the playoffs, your fan base is probably pretty happy about it.
You would convey your draft pick to the Chicago Bulls thanks to the last transaction from Neil O'Shea.
Okay, so explain that.
It is a lottery-protected pick.
This year's pick.
Well, it is a pick that goes out and basically into perpetuity out until 2027. This is, I believe, the Robert Covington trade.
So for the next 2 lotteries,
So, and
If
if
Portland-
the Blazers, so the Blazers are in the playoffs this year, their draft pick will convey to the Bulls. If they are not in the playoffs this year, they will keep their pick. If they go to the playoffs next year, it will go to the Bulls.
yeah, but I mean, and we were talking about this last year. Like at a certain point, okay,
Yeah.
are you not going to make the playoffs like purposefully or
Depends on the draft class.
pull the plug?
Depends on the draft class.
2 years from now, at the end of next season,
Oh
you're
no,
looking
I'm saying.
at that.
But if you're looking at where you are right now, what's more important? Getting
Things can change.
Yeah, getting a player or not. But again,
Yeah,
those-
but
that's,
again,
that's so far down the
This
road.
happened so quick, and going into this road trip, it wasn't pulling the plug. It's
No.
what trades can we make to make a run?
Look,
like,
I did a podcast.
that happened in 10 days.
Was that last night? I think it was last night, Friday night. I
What,
can't
what
remember.
podcast is that?
Jack Ramsey's, ladies and gentlemen.
Like and subscribe.
There you go. But beyond that, I had so many questions about trades, and I'm like, guys,
Right.
they're missing their backcourt right now. Like,
Is Laurie Markkinen coming to town?
Yeah, let's just
Woo!
see what this looks like. Let's get through Christmas.
Ah.
We have another month of basketball before my brain even starts going, okay. And in general, we know who this team is. There's no doubt about that. Like, we know the idea, the mentality, but is there something you want to change somewhere? And I think number one, let's let Scoot Henderson play basketball this year. See what that looks like. Let's see what happens when Matisse Thybulle comes back.
When was the last time Scoot played a game, by the way? March?
Yeah, it's around there. It's been a little while.
Think about how long ago March was.
We're closer to March now than,
Oh, the passing of time. That's what happens on a Sunday night. You like to go big, Dan?
I do like to go big.
We all love going big. And I'm talking the triple bonus jack combo. That's 3 juicy beef patties, 3 slices of melty American cheese, shredded lettuce, pickles, and Jack's secret sauce on a toasted bun, plus fries and a drink. You can order it right now on the Jack in the Box app. 3 times the beef, 3 times the flavor.
Juicy.
Another great night for Rip City.
Absolutely. You know who's all about people just like this team? Dick and Subaru.
Right. From your first visit to your first drive, they're focused on making a difference for you, for our community.
That's when they say, believe in nice.
Dick Hanna Subaru. It's not just about cars, it's about people. Time for a deep dive into not that shallow of a topic tonight. It's Trend VA. You like newspapers, Dan?
No.
Came out in The Athletic. Big piece about the NBA asking multiple teams,
How big
including the
piece?
Lakers, to hand over documents,
And cell phones.
cell phones. They're checking out this illegal sports gambling story, which is only expanding at this point. LeBron was sort of the, I won't say center of this, but his name is interesting because of his potential connection. Not like he is involved, but because of his orbit, the people in his orbit and their connection
And would
to
know
this.
about him and his availability
Right.
for a game.
Damon Jones specifically.
Yes. So this is not reporting or anything like that. This is my gut feeling. I feel like this is going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at what happened with the baseball story last week.
I mean, Emmanuel Clase and was it not Ortiz, the other pitcher for the Guardians,
But there were bets taken on the first pitch of the game,
Yeah.
right? Whether or not it'll be a strike and a ball.
which you can control,
And-
which is a prop bet, and that gets into a whole other thing.
Well, and you look at the video of those pitches, and they are in the dirt.
yeah, and which
Just a bit outside.
hilariously, one of them was swung at, and you have to wonder if like that swing and a miss that turned into a strike, which was supposed to be a ball,
Right.
cost somebody a lot of money and got somebody in a lot of trouble.
I think we haven't really spoken about this broadly because obviously the Chauncey thing happened really early, and then the team started playing well, so it hasn't been as much as a thing. And I don't really want to focus the conversation on Chauncey because nothing's really changed there, so it's just speculation at this point. To me, the interesting part of the conversation is this. Everyone is inundated. There's commercials everywhere for these things. Kevin Hart, Shaq, Dave Portnoy, everywhere you look, people are talking about gambling on sports. You cannot watch an NFL game or an NBA game without seeing the live line and all this stuff. And I enjoy gambling. I think it's fun in moderation. But even I get really sick of all this stuff and parlays. Like, there has to be a line. And I don't think that because, you can just go on your phone and bet DraftKings or FanDuel or all these things. I don't think that is the reason that, all of these things are starting to happen. Because these people who got this information didn't go onto their phone and make bets.
No.
This is organized crime.
Yes.
However, I do think there is more opportunity for this now. It is out of the shadows, and as a result, people have a much clearer understanding of all this. So there are more opportunities for it, and especially when you get to, like you talked about, those prop bets. When you have individual things
That
for
can be
players
controlled by
way
individuals.
down the roster who can control individual things without necessarily throwing a game or giving information or doing the things that you're not supposed to. But it's not just the NBA. This is coming for everybody.
I have a couple minds about this. One, I'm a pro freedoms guy. Like, I'd rather have people be able to kind of do how they want to do
Get
and
off my
act
lawn.
how they don't want to. Yeah, just
Leave me alone. Let me do my thing.
100%.
Yeah.
I gamble. I mean, look, you can check my phone. I do it. But
It's legal.
Yeah, I don't sit there and like shake my fist at anybody who does. Again, responsibly. But beyond that, I think that this stuff being in the open is actually better. Because when it's behind closed doors, it's harder to track. It's harder to pinpoint these things. And so basically the reason a lot of these people have gotten caught is because these irregularities. That I had the opportunity, I'm not going to mention the sports book, to sit down with the president of a sports book at Summer League a couple years ago.
Cool.
It was.
That sounds awesome.
It was an insane night. A lot of things happened down there that was like, okay, this is a different planet entirely. But I got to meet some of their quants, the guys that were MIT educated, that make millions.
Quants?
That go in. They're quantitative analysis.
Okay.
So these are the guys that build algorithms
Sure.
that either set lines or detect spikes in lines. These people are some of the smartest mathematicians on the face of the planet. They forego like mathematical careers to go make tens of millions of dollars for gambling companies. And the stuff that they were throwing at me, I'm very good at math, and I'm sitting there going, whoa, like what do I do with this? And the thing I took away was, don't try to beat the system in Las Vegas. Like, they are a billion upon billion upon billion dollar industry, and if you try to take one extra penny from them, they will find you. And that the detection software that they have, the algorithms they have that track all this stuff, Vegas only has to win 51% of the time for them to be worth it. But they win more than that. And the reason they do that is because they have the smartest people in the world working on lines. And yet people continue to try to manipulate this stuff. But if you do it behind the scenes, and you do it in back alleys, and you do it in these closed bookie rings, what can you do? You can manipulate things. But if it's out in the open, it's much easier to track, and it's much easier to catch. Now, you also have people, I think it was an Alabama baseball coach, who is sitting there at a casino telling them, no, seriously, I've got inside information. I really want to place this bet. Don't be that dummy either.
Oh, wow.
He knew that a guy was going to get pulled, or knew that a pitcher wasn't going to pitch, or something like that. It was springtime, I think, last year. We did the story on it on the radio, and I was just like, you can't be that dumb. Apparently you can. But when it comes to the NBA, and I've mentioned this before on air on the radio, I have seen players exchange insane amounts of money for their alma maters playing against each other and one losing. Like it's nothing. The gambling culture is just like it is for us, except for exponentially more money.
Yeah, perfect example. The Cowboys are playing the Raiders tomorrow.
Yeah,
Danny's a Raiders fan.
we'll have a little
I'm
bet.
sure we'll have like $10 on it.
Yeah.
But that, related to our salaries, is like $1,000 for NBA players because they make that amount of money.
I saw a $10,000 bet on a
Sure.
college basketball game between two teammates.
But that's not going to cause any pain for those guys because their salaries.
But that's an astronomical number, and
Right.
yet you see things in sports where Emmanuel Clase, again, innocent until proven guilty, but he is I believe that the affidavit had it where he was getting paid like something like $5,000 every time he did this, which amounted to 0.01 or 0.001% of his salary. It was like, but why? And a lot of times with these kind of things, like when I worked in the military, it's not the same kind of case, but I work with different task force. And what we would do is we would leverage guys. That's what we would do. When we had something on somebody, we would leverage them and turn them into an informant.
Yeah.
And I almost guarantee that's what was happening with a lot of stuff, not necessarily with the law enforcement side of these things, but with the criminal organizations. They were getting leverage on guys and just hammering it.
I mean, if you've seen Goodfellas or Casino,
for $5,000, like why are you doing that? It's not
right.
It ain't love of the game.
It doesn't make sense. So it's either something's got something over you, or there's some sort of addiction happening with a competitiveness.
And usually when that's the case, there's a lot more money involved.
Sure.
And that's when I see the amounts being small. Like for so many guys, the amounts being smaller, that's like you're willing to risk your livelihood, your career. Because that's the thing is, these casinos are so big and so powerful that they're going to use every last inch of the law, and they're going to look for federal prison time. They have so much influence in government and power that Jonte Porter is going to end up going to federal prison because he shaved points. That seems like such an insane thing, but that's just the reality of it. When you're talking about international crime, wire fraud, and transactions, things of that nature, they don't play with that stuff.
But you make a good point that because it's more out in the open, that's why guys are perhaps getting caught now. Because as long as there's been sports, there's been people rigging these games.
I am a proponent of getting rid of prop bets. But the problem with getting rid of prop bets, where would they go?
Explain what prop bets are to people.
So prop bets are, let's say you and I we're playing one-on-one a game to 15, or not even game to 15. We're just playing one-on-one, playing quarters, and my over is 22.5. Yours is 23.5. The prop bet is if I hit the under of 22.5, it means I have 22 points or less. If I hit the over, it's 23 or more. And so you can kind of control those things, which we've seen happen in multiple cases where allegedly Terry Rozier had an injury, big time air quotes, and took himself out of a game because they bet the under on him in that performance. The same thing happened with Jonte Porter. He left with an injury in that game. That's the easiest way to kind of like, what's interesting about this is you're now seeing some gambling companies that are giving like no sweat bets back as a way to get out. I believe Josh Jacobs got hurt for the Packers, and they ended up canceling his bets because he got injured in the second quarter. And it's like, you got out of the yardage bet for that. And it's almost like a double hedge against protection for them. Like, let's go ahead and stay away from this. But the problem is those easily manipulated stats.
Right.
Like, for me in baseball, that's the easiest one. Opening pitch, like first pitch ball, first pitch strike, you can pretty much control that however you want to. But the problem is if you take those things out, they're just going to go back in the shadows. But they're not going to go away.
I get it, and I get that it being more out in the open probably leads to more regulation. Mm-hmm. You got these smart people in there who have all these algorithms that can detect all these big bets coming in, and maybe there's a spike and something going on.
There's an irregularity
and they can cancel it. I get that. Mm-hmm. But there is a big segment of our audience that is just waiting for us to finish this part of the conversation because they are so over the gambling thing, which I get, even as someone who enjoys this. Like, I don't care what Boogie Cousins thinks the over-under is going to be for the fourth best San Antonio Spur. Like, just tell me about the basketball game. Don't have a big screen that shows me a parlay of like, this player's going to have this many rebounds and this many assists, and the Spurs are going to win by like, who cares?
It's Pandora's box because they've all taken money from the companies.
Of course. Yeah, these are the biggest funders of these leagues at this point.
I mean, Jaylen Brown, did we talk about this in here on the radio?
I don't think so.
So we talked about it on the radio. Jaylen Brown talked about, when the arrest originally happened, about how players don't get any money for this. And they aren't reaping the benefits. And I'm sitting there going, brother, 3 months ago, you were the highest paid player in the NBA. Do you know why your salary went up that much? The TV rights deal isn't just that. The TV rights deal also includes all that money from DraftKings, all that money from FanDuel, all the money from ESPN Bet. Like, there's tens of millions of dollars going into that. And the idea, like, ESPN just got out of a deal with Penn Gambling. It was a 10-year, $2 billion deal. That's $200 million a year that they were paying for those rights. Like, that's not nothing. So, like, and then again, what is ESPN then buying? They're taking money and buying rights for the NBA, buying rights for the NFL. So where is that money going into? So it's not hard to see where this money is actually going. It's increasing the total revenue pool for all these leagues, and it's hundreds of millions of dollars. Do you think the players and owners are going to willingly be like, you know what, gambling's bad, guys. We need to go away from this?
Well, it's not quite the same thing, but you see the NFL, and yes, there's been lots of advancements in concussion protocol and making sure players are being taken care of as much as you can be when you're running into a brick wall at 20 miles an hour that's 350 pounds. But it feels like gambling is the next evolution of that. The NBA is like, yeah, we're complying. We have our own investigation.
Too little, too late.
Too little, too late, because when the feds come after you, that's a different story. And it puts Adam Silver and the league and Goodell and all these commissioners in a really tough spot when they're taking billion-dollar checks from these companies and saying, no, we got it. Don't worry about it. We're going to investigate this fully and make sure everything's above board. How can you believe these people?
No, I mean, there's a Senate investigatory committee that's already diving into this, and now Adam Silver's going, well, we're asking for phones. We need to see all this stuff. It's like, probably should have done that before.
So it's not going anywhere. The commercials stink. We hate him. Do we have young Hansen highlights?
Oh, do we?
I think we have young Hansen highlights. He was down. He played for the Remix tonight against the South Bay Lakers.
21-9, 3-3.
We had the matchup between him and Drew Timme. Couple of legends just balling out.
Little shimmy hook.
Looking good.
Love to see it.
It is nice to see Young getting down there and getting some run. Isn't this what the Remix are for? Aside from entertaining folks in North Portland when they're at home, this is what the Remix should be. You draft a guy like this, he gets down there, you get some confidence.
He's not getting time with the big club. Go down there and get used to the speed. Like we've talked about this before, the G League plays dumb fast. Like you regularly see games 120, 130, 140. Like it is, and I'll tell you right now, the field goal percentages aren't that high. They aren't that high. It's just a lot of
the 12 or 32 like we saw tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Yeah. But you still find a lot of scoring down there. And for Hansen to get up and down the floor this much, like this is what you want to see. Like his biggest issue right now that the Blazers are concerned with is getting acclimated to the culture, getting acclimated to the country, to the city, to the language, getting that stuff first. Because if he doesn't get that, he can't communicate. If he can't communicate, he can't understand. And so while everybody talks about basketball being a language that everybody understands, sure, but there's finer points when you're talking about the NBA. And once that stuff slows down for him, guess what? Then the game can slow down for him because his biggest basketball concern right now is the game being too fast for him. He has said as much multiple times in public interviews and away from the microphone. We've talked to him a little bit about that. That's just where he's at. And he's, to be honest, he's brutally honest in his assessment and probably a little too harsh on himself sometimes. But, you know, that's what I think we expect from a guy who has the weight of a couple billion people on his shoulders.
It has to be very isolating to not only come to America, be in the NBA, and be around a bunch of guys who speak a different language than you. Like, that has to be a very isolating experience. And you look at baseball, when you have Japanese contingents on teams, like the Dodgers, they have multiple guys from Japan. There has to be a kinship among those guys because they speak the same language. And it has to be very difficult for Hansen to do this. And getting him confidence on the basketball court is going to lead to him being confident, I would think, off the court, be more comfortable with the guys. Because when you get run early and you kind of show everyone like you're not quite fully baked, you got to go back in the oven.
He looked
for
good
a
in
little
Summer League and he looked good in preseason.
Right.
And then it came out when it actually started going, it was like, oop, a little too much right now.
But you probably not regress, but you pull yourself inward, I think, when that happens, where if you came in and your first couple of shifts were kind of productive, then maybe you feel more comfortable going up to guys and I'm more a part of the thing instead of like, I'm the rookie who's not really ready. You know, the coach says I'm a project, which he is. Like, that's not an unfair criticism from Tiago. It's just kind of the way that it is. But I think this guy's dealing with more than basketball, and it's important to remember.
And the thing is, you love to see him go down to the Remix and go 21-9, 3-3. Like, that's what he should do. 100%. That's what he should do. He should go down there and score. He should go down there and rebound. He should go down there and block shots and play make. Like, there's no reason why he shouldn't be getting post touches. There's no reason why down there he shouldn't be running through the offense through him at the elbows. There's no reason why he shouldn't be involved in dribble handoff game. Like, that's the thing is, like, down there he can be elevated a little bit and get him a little bit more comfortable because when he does become ready to go up to the big team, he's not going to be the guy they run everything through, but can he find areas to contribute where he is more comfortable? Like if he turns it, let's say he turns into a three-point shooter. I'm just saying, throwing this out there. Well, then, yeah, now he can work in that spot where Donovan's been inconsistent, right? He's not as good as a rim protector or a shot blocker as Donovan, but can he be as good of a rebounder? Can he be really good on the defensive glass? And so maybe he can knock down some threes every now and then, give you a nice pass out of a DHO or out of a high post action. Every now and then when you see the mismatch, he goes down there and he parks that big butt up against him and says, hey, you know what? Let's throw him a post up. Like, then he can flash those little things. And that's I think, the hope of where he's at and where he can be going forward. The one thing he's compared to Jokic far too much as the Chinese Jokic thing. Just want a little reminder, go back and look at rookie year Jokic. It wasn't this thing where it was like, that's the future MVP of the league. It's just, it takes time. And just everybody, like I have looked at this since they drafted him and going, he's either going to be a boom or a bust. And the boom doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be Jokic. The boom could be Marc Gasol light.
Great.
Which is a really good player. But I don't see a path for him where he's not a guy who's, or I don't see a path where he's just a normal contributor. Because the uniqueness of his game, he does need to have the ball a little bit more. You do need to run some things through him because he's not a guy who's going to be moving up and down the floor.
So what does it look like, do you think, in terms of him playing for the remix and coming back up for the big club? Do you think he'll bounce back and forth? Do you think he'll be primarily with the remix? Because you probably have some fans that have tickets out there for the remix. They're like, do I get to see young Hansen up close?
There you go. Get down to the Child Center and go check it out. I think it's going to very much depend on health with the big men.
Sure.
Donovan.
Rob.
Donovan, Rob. Like Donovan, again, if you get 65 games out of him, this is not a shot at Donovan. This is just, if you get 65 games out of your 7'3", 280-pound big man, that's good. In the NBA, over an 82-game season, if you're hitting 65 games, that's great. Like, there's just not many guys that do that. Like, the ones who do are at the very high end, like Jokic, or they're Avdija Zubac, who are very good, which, like, that's the guy I think Donovan is leaning towards. I think he's more of a Zubac.
That would be great, man.
10-year player who's just, a guy who's consistently in all defense.
Inside.
Yeah, like, is one of the best interior rim protectors in the entire league and has been for a decade. Like, I know it's an unsung thing, but, like, he's good. Like, that's a guy you can trust every single night. But most guys that are that big, they're going to miss 7, 8, 12 games a year. Rob, we know his health history. And if you lose either of those guys for any chunk of games, you're going to need another body in there. So then I think that's when you see him pop back up. Or he plays so well with the remix that you go, you know what? Let's get him some spot minutes here. Maybe let's get Rob a rest night here, especially when they're at home. Like, say they extended homestand 4 or 5 games. Hey, we're playing Tuesday, Wednesday. They're playing a back-to-back.
Sure.
I don't know if the Blazers are going to play Rob in a back-to-back. I don't think they are. Could you see Young get called up for that? Probably.
I mean, that's a lot of games at a short stretch. I mean, you go Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday up until Thanksgiving.
And
that's a lot of games.
And that's coming off of a 5-game road trip where you played every other night.
Right, and you only got 2 at home, and then you're back on the road for a big part of that. Let's talk about Calabro's boy, Chris Murray. 32 minutes, 6 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, 2 offensive rebounds. Chris was everywhere tonight.
Yeah.
Chris is, I mean this complimentary. He is the least sexy, productive player on this team.
Yes.
Like, he just does what has to. It's not flashy. Everyone gives him a hard time about the 2-handed dunk. He knocked down some threes tonight. He does what needs to be done, and that's why Thiago gives him this many minutes in a game like
Trust. It's trust. Look, his nickname after, I believe it was rookie camp, was Mr. Perfect, because the coaching staff never had to tell him anything twice. He's a super smart kid, great dude, one of my favorite guys to talk to in the locker room. He's just got a feel for himself and basketball, where he has a level of self-awareness that is not present in a lot of role players in the NBA.
He doesn't come in and say it's Chris Murray time.
No. And this is a guy who scored, 24 a game in Iowa? He was a very productive player at Iowa. He was very good. And he was a guy who wasn't asked to play a ton of defense growing up. Like, him and his brother Keegan were guys that got buckets. And I will never forget when I asked him, like, when he really started playing defense and Chauncey challenged him, I was like, how do you like playing defense? And he lit up like a kid on Christmas. He was like, man, I've never been asked to do this. I love this. I love doing this. Like, I love fighting over screens. I love driving a guy a little bit crazy. I like getting up in their jersey. And I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, this is kind of cool. And again, when they're fully healthy and they have their cadre of Giroux, Tu, Chris, Tease, Blake, it is 5 guys that are going to wear ball handlers out. It is 48 minutes of torture. And Chris is a big part of that. Like, tonight, he had 3 steals. Like, he is a guy that is very he is not just an average NBA defender. He is an above average to very good NBA defender who can guard 1 through 4. There's not, you look down every roster in the NBA, teams kill to have a guy like that. And the Blazers, when they're fully healthy, have 5 of them. And so with Chris, the biggest question for him is the offense. I trust him defensively. And Tiago trusts him defensively.
Clearly.
He's getting primary assignments and primary ball handlers regularly. And there's no fear on that. They're not like, oh, we're worried about Chris or we need to hide Chris. No, they're deploying him on ball, picking up at 85 feet.
Well, it's exciting when Chris gets to the rim and finishes.
Yes.
Because if he's doing that in addition to everything else that you know he's going to do, then it is, okay, we have a fully baked rotation player here. When you see it smoking at the rim or it doesn't really happen, you're like, it's like disappointing because you know it's the only thing that's not quite there and you see everything else happen. But to your point about the health of this team, and every team is dinged up with health. This is what happens. It's the NBA. When this team does get healthy, let's hope it's sooner than later. I know Blake's out for a little while, and we're gonna check on Scoot and Tease hopefully soon. Chris is gonna get minutes on this team when it's fully healthy.
100%.
He
has the trust of the coaching staff.
Last year it was okay. We'll throw Chris in, and it's sort of evolved throughout the year of Chauncey trusting him more and more. But now it's reached a point where Chris is going to play 18 to 22 even if everyone's healthy.
Yeah, he's going to find a way to get on the court because he's a 6'8" dude who can create a little bit. Like if he has a closeout, he can attack it and drive the rim or find a little dump off pass. Like you trust him to do that. Defensively, he can guard 1 through 4, and he can do it in various ways. For a guy his size, he's very hard. Like him and Tumani are probably 2 of the toughest guys at their size in the league to screen. Like just think about when you watch Blazers play basketball. How often do you see Chris or 2 die on screens?
It's pretty rare.
For guys that it's one thing for Blake Wesley or Matisse Thybulle because they're like Gumby. They're this wide. They're just rail thin. They're strong as could be, but they don't have these big boxy frames like 2 and Chris. They just slither around and they're almost impossible to screen. Chris and 2 have this innate ability to turn their shoulders, get their hips clear, and you have to screen, then rescreen, and then rescreen again, and like. Okay, and by that point in time, you've wasted 5-6 seconds of the shot clock. You're like, okay, we need to go somewhere else with this.
Kids, do you know who Gumby is? Use the hashtag RCWrapUp and let us know if you understood that cultural reference from Daniel Marang. You like
Are
cars?
we that old? We can't say Gumby?
I like pokey. You like cars and cheeseburgers? We sure do.
It's the 50s.
Here on
Cars
the
and
Rip
cheeseburgers.
Wrap-Up. Drag race.
We'll go down to the drive-in.
We got to do Jack in the Box.
Yeah, we do.
We got to do Dick Hanna Subaru.
Let's do that.
It's for one at a time.
Yeah, there you go.
My goodness. Oh, you can feel the energy after that game. This city really cares.
Same goes for Dick Hanna Subaru. They care about people and the community, not just cars.
Exactly. From that first visit to your first drive, they're there every step of the way.
Dick Hanna Subaru, making a difference and proving they believe in nice.
Oh, Blazer fam, you know that buzzer beater feeling? That's what the new classic Smash Jack is. A juicy smash patty, melty American cheese, lettuce, grilled onions, pickles, and Jack's boss sauce, all stacked on a soft brioche bun. For the ultimate MVP meal, it's rated the best burger in fast food by me, Joe Simons.
There you go.
And you can order it now on the Jack in the Box app. Grab one and go big. Just like your Blazers.
No sleases tonight.
All right, Danny Marang, we saw Cooper Flagg play a basketball game, and you haven't talked about him enough, and we only got 10 minutes left in the show, so go ahead and nerd out with your fellow nerds.
Cooper Flagg's real good. That boy good. Like, that's what this comes down to. I think he had 3 shots in the first half. You almost didn't see him. Actually, I can do this. I have a system that I can literally click this and go
nerd out, bro.
First half. Cooper Flagg in the first half ended up with, why did this sort so funky? There we go. 1 of 3, 2 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And you're like,
bust.
It's fine.
Should have picked Edgecombe.
Yeah, right. And then he finishes the game with, a 25-5 game and no turnovers. What impressed me...
And looked dominant offensively down the stretch.
He took on Tumani Kamara and knocked down shots over him. He took on...
Backing
Chris
him
Murray.
down.
He took on Deni Avdija. He took on Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
He took on big, strong, very good to elite defensive wings who don't get bullied around. And there was the one on 2 was the one where we both kind of looked at each other like, oh.
It looked pretty easy.
Like, this is an 18-year-old kid, and this is not a shot at 2 at all. 2 is strong as a truck. I mean, you don't see him get moved by many people. Coop hit him with a couple shoulders, cleared space, turned and faded. I went, That's an 18-year-old. Like that's not supposed to happen in the NBA.
It was pretty amazing to watch it happen to a guy like Toumani Camara, where seemingly every opposing coach, where they talk about one guy in the Blazers, it's Toumani Camara.
Avoid him.
And how good he is.
Yeah.
And Cooper Flagg, what is he, 24, 20? How old is he?
18
He's
years old.
18 years old. My goodness, that's amazing. For him to back down Toumani like that, like legitimately, is pretty sensational. And it didn't look difficult.
Time.
Yeah.
He did it in
That's
winning
right.
time.
It wasn't
That's
in the second
crazy
quarter.
thing. Like, no, this wasn't, a game that's running
Give me the
away.
ball.
He demanded it multiple times. Now, they don't really have a choice because they don't have anybody else who could create. But for the play that he had where he went end to end, went behind the back and kind of got it tipped away from him, regathered the dribble, slowed down, split the defense, went in the Euro and finished. We both kind of went, okay, that's you just
3 Blazers were draped all over him.
and he slipped through everybody and snuck it in, and you're just kind of like, okay, look, outside
Look at
of
that Jazz score. My
yeah,
goodness.
the NBA got nuts tonight. I am a firm believer that if Victor Wembanyama did not exist, Cooper Flagg would be the best defensive prospect in basketball outside of Anthony Davis. The 3 best defensive basketball prospects in the last 15 years are Anthony Davis, Wemby, and Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg, if his offense is going to be this, I've kind of called him a kind of a weird Grant Hill, Sean Marion hybrid. And yes, I'm aware of how good those players were. If you aren't, go watch Sean Marion in his prime. He was terrifying.
Watch Grant Hill more, though.
Yeah, oh God, early Grant Hill was.
Oh, I love those Pistons teams. Him and Stack.
But Sean Marion is a defender. Everybody talks about, Matrix couldn't score, he couldn't do this. Go look at Sean Marion's best seasons. He was unreal. But Cooper Flagg, you look at the way he plays. His handle's not the best. His jumper's not the best. His creation's not the best. His defense is very good. But he doesn't do anything bad. There's not a weakness in his game. And everything he's been asked to do so far, whether it was at Duke and now stepping into the NBA, John Shire, the head coach at Duke, took the risk of letting Cooper Flagg play point guard, basically, for them, initiating their offense. Early in the season, they suffered a couple losses, including to Kentucky in the early season. That paid massive dividends down the stretch. That was a team that went to the end. And it was based on this 17-year-old kid that basically has a super – like I have not seen a kid at his age process the game like he does by any other standard other than LeBron James. And I know how scary that hyperbole is, but that's his brain. He is a basketball supercomputer.
Well, let's play it out. He's 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What does Cooper Flagg look like? Not best case scenario, not worst case scenario. If things
Most
go
likely.
okay for the next 6 to 7 seasons, what does he look like as a 25-year-old?
Multi-time All-NBA player. Like his ceiling is MVP. Like legitimately, his ceiling is MVP. Like that's how highly I think of him. When I look at Cooper Flagg, if he does not make an All-NBA team outside of injuries, I will be disappointed. Like that's how good I think he's going to be.
Can you surround him with any kind of basketball players because his talent is that diverse, or do you need to have a very specific type of team around him to maximize what he does, or do we not know because he is 18?
I don't know. That's the thing is, like with LeBron, it was pretty close.
First game out of the gate, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, and Coop had a horrible first game, and it was kind of funny because he did the same thing at Summer League, and he flat out admitted he got nervous. Just got nervous, which is fine. But like he's special. Like you saw it tonight. He's an 18-year-old kid who led the Mavs to victory, and not with a couple plays here or there. He had 3 shots at halftime. Finishes the game with 25 and 5.
But also Cooper Flagg, a really good name.
It's a great name.
That's a good name for like a legend
blah.
of the game.
Right?
Very, very strong.
Capture the flag, man. We were chasing hard last year.
Now, poor marketing is starting an NBA basketball game at 8 p.m. local time on a darn Tuesday. NBC/Peacock. What are you doing? It's too late.
The legitimate reason for it is that they hate the West Coast. They don't care about us at all. No, I'm joking, but I'm being dead serious. The East Coast market is being prioritized. They're bumping the East Coast
because
start
NBC's
times.
doing 5 and 8, right? So it's 8 and 8.
Yes, so they're bumping the start time back for the East so they don't have a 4 or 4:30 tip.
Sure.
So they can get there sooner, get there earlier. Well, it won't be 4 or 5 for them, but it'll be 8 for them. But that extra bit, everybody talks about how that means so much more getting to a game. I'm like, you're a sociopath. Get to the game on time, Miami.
Miami. I just don't understand how people who don't live on the West Coast follow sports
On the West Coast,
and have.
it's impossible.
My brother lives in North Carolina, and I spent a couple weeks with him in Raleigh during football season. And the Cowboys, they're my favorite team. We're playing a Monday Night Football game. And it was like midnight on a Wednesday. And this is just how these people live.
You're like, why am I doing this?
It-
West Coast, best coast.
Truly.
Nobody beats it for sports.
No argument.
Hawaii, you're close, but it's a little too early in the day.
Right, because if you got the NFL game, the early one, it's
You're
at
like-
4:30
yeah,
in the
you're like,
morning.
it's a little
Things
much.
are a little too early. But 8 o'clock is wild, and we won't be here.
No, we won't.
We're not
Don't
doing a
look for us
show
after that game.
on Tuesday. We will be here
On
Wednesday. But again, Portland comes home, and you love to say, first game home after a roadie,
Is another
like
road
another
game.
road game.
It is.
It's your
Especially
sixth game.
a 5-game trip where you're just
six
coming
cities,
home,
6 games.
Yeah, and you get a day off. You're just like, oh, you just kind of let that happen. So we'll see what happens.
And you're playing Phoenix, who is far exceeding expectations.
I don't
They
know
were
what.
supposed to be a 30-win team. They're 8-6.
So basically, we swapped the Grizzlies and the Suns. Like they said, no, you're the tire fire. Devin Booker has been really good for them. Really good for them. Really efficient at times. And you kind of have to tip your cap to them because I thought they were going to be just dreadful. Colin Malach has given them some good minutes. Dylan Brooks, unfortunately, has given us some good minutes. But Book has been everything that he wasn't last year. He was not good last year.
He seems happier.
I mean, saying maybe him and KD weren't best friends.
Hey, you made it.
Made it through.
Danny was like, I'm tired. He didn't seem tired at all, did he?
I'm gone. I'm completely cooked.
He's not going to remember a minute of this.
No.
Thank you so much for watching. Your Blazers are fine, folks. They're 6-7. Enjoy your week. 6-7.
Oh, God, I hate you.
Let us know what it means. We love you all so much.
Bye.